Don't you hate it when your local swamp turns into a vehicle for borderline multi-generational incest? I really enjoyed the vibe. I really like Dylan O'Brien in almost anything. I was excited to see Eliza Scanlon in this. Not seen her in much recently. And I like the way that the story generally just slowly begins to unfold around us. But I cannot stress this enough. What the fuck is going on? Caddo Lake is about Dylan O'Brien and Eliza Scanlon and more investigating the curious goings-on around a real-life lake with a lot of mystery and intrigue surrounding it. A girl goes missing and her half-sister Ellie she really doesn't get on with her parents. She goes out and searches for her on the lake and tries to figure out what's happened to her, what could have gone on here, while Dylan O'Brien is simultaneously looking for clues about the death of his mother, which happened years earlier. And if it sounds a little like vague, or if like the plot's not very well defined there, it's not actually the film's fault as much as it is me trying desperately not to spoil it too much while talking about it here, because it's tough. This film has got a lot of great mystery to it. It's bordering on too much for the first hour, to the degree where you are kind of saying like half for that entire time, but you can feel, certainly by like the midway point, if not a bit earlier, that there is going to be quite the full explanation at some point, so you can kind of enjoy the ride well enough without kind of thinking I'm too lost here, which is often a problem for a film like this that is, and is quite reliant on a lot of like twisty, turny bits. Not to a degree that's really upsetting or annoying, but there are certain elements. God, it's so hard to talk about this without spoiling it. There are certain elements of this film that it's using things and concepts and ideas and stuff as a vehicle to do certain things, like to be able to shock you and to tell this interesting style of story, which is quite unique the way it goes about it. But it's not interested in having a full conversation about how any of it works so much. And I get that to a degree. If you were making a film about, like, the Bermuda Triangle, you maybe wouldn't try and explain exactly what's going on. You would just do this mysterious cookie thing. And that was another thing that surprised me about this, because I only watched this because I saw it on a list of, like, great horror films from last year that you should check out. And I was like, okay, and I picked a few off the list to watch. This is not a horror film. Yeah, I really have to stress that quite strongly. It's not even remotely a horror film. It is a strictly mysterious thriller. This does feel a little bit like the writers were watching From, or Dark, or just any one-word mysterious thriller series, and they decided, yeah, let's just do that, but steal the location from where the crawdads sing. It seriously does look, and the vibe is a lot like that. It feels like at any point, the mystery van's going to come in and break down, and the Scooby Gang's going to get out and start helping solve what's going on. Like, it's got that kind of vibe to it, almost. And yet, I don't think it's bad. I do like a good Scooby-Doo mystery. Caddo Lake is the kind of thriller that I don't know why it doesn't get made more, because, like horror films, it's pretty cheap to do. Like, they've set it around this lake. Great. Most of the shots of the lake and the swamps and stuff there are cinematic enough and create this dark, droopy kind of atmosphere to the degree that you don't need to do anything else to them to really have great cinematography going on there. So I don't know why people don't make more like this, probably because it is difficult to write these kind of twists and turns in and for the story not to end up sucking right at the end when you reveal it all, but this one does it well enough that it gets by. So I'm giving those old jokes about Americans from the South are a little too real 3 stars. Might not have been a big horror film from last year, but it was definitely worth watching all the same. I don't even know if this was ever released in the UK. I might have just missed it, or it might have been a streaming thing. Honestly, it's impossible to keep track of. Who can keep track of all the films coming out nowadays? Not me, and I try hard. Subscribe for more art truths.